So here are my thoughts on the 2024 NFL Week 2 regular season for the games here on Sunday. The Sunday games, my thoughts. So, I have a thought about the 40 Vikings and 49ers game. I'm going to go down the list. 49ers, Vikings, Seahawks, Patriots, all the way down to the Sunday night game, Bears, Texans. I'm going to talk about every game and week 1 or week 2 in my thoughts. So here we go. So is 49ers and Vikings is the first game. This game was pretty exciting game. It was down to the wire close. All these NFL games are close down the wire. That's what you want, It keeps you on the edge of your seat watching. And that's what, I mean, yeah, you'd love it if your favorite team won or you had a team. Yeah, you'd love it if you blow out every game, but it's not going to happen, You're always going to have there's always going to be a good amount of close down wire games. And especially in the 1 Eastern window. And this was a pretty solid game, This one, the 49ers did not have Christian McCaffrey rushing the football, but Jay Mason stepped up and did really well. 20 rushes for 100 yards. Did really, really well. And there was a couple wide receivers, a couple receivers that did well. You have Deebo Samuel Sr. and G. Kittle. They got 186 yards combined. So, and then they were the two ones that did a lot of the work. There were some that got 4 for 43 for B. Ayuk. And then you got 4 for 43. G. Jennings, 2 for 37. 2 for 26 for E. Subbert. Then we have F. Warner. They got 7 tackles, 2 assisted. And we got a sack and interception. And both had 4 tackles and assist, 2 sacks. And then all the rest, 4-1 for J. Brown, 3 for A&M, 2-3 for Lenore, 2-3 for Campbell Sr. And then we had, so they did pretty well. And then there was and then the only thing that really did it was that, you had, and then B. Purdy did throw a touchdown, but he threw an interception. Had 20 for 36, 319. S. Darnold, though, passing the football. S. Darnold was 17-26, 268, 2 touchdowns. Interception. He had that late interception, Darnold did. S. Darnold did. Late in the game. No, not super late in the game, but I guess it wasn't super late in the game. It was second quarter, wasn't it? I guess, was it second quarter? I can't remember. It was second or third or something like that. It wasn't super late though. I can't remember though, honestly, but he did have that one, but it didn't really matter though. I mean, they had a couple of turnovers. Each team had fumbles, turnovers, interceptions. So, and then bad, the 49ers were just kind of sloppier. The Vikings had some sloppiness. A. Jones went and he had the ball. Big run. And then he fumbled the ball. But Ty Chandler really stepped up well. So, we got Jay Jefferson. He did most of the work, obviously. He had that 97-yard touchdown. That was most of his yards. But he still did well. Jay Naylor had 3 for 54. Touchdown. A. Jones had 5 for 36, so not too shabby. And then defense, you had I Pace, 6 tackles, 2 assists. B. Keshin, 5 tackles, 8 assisted. He had a bunch with he had 4 people with 5 or more tackles. And he had a bunch of people that had assists with 3 tackles, 2 tackles. He had a few people with assists. So it was all a team effort in tackling and the defense, which is awesome. And this was just down the wire exciting football. What can you say, you know? What more can you say, you know? When you had a 22-yard field goal by Will Wright, Justin Jefferson, and an 18-yard touchdown pass. Sam Darnold's second quarter. But I mean, the 49ers really didn't get much going until the second quarter. Offense, I mean, they had good. I mean, they just weren't scoring though. It was 20-7, but you knew the 49ers would come back a little bit. It was just the excellent drive late in the fourth quarter, from 10-16 to 3:30. That really helped the Vikings they just need a field goal, especially when they use a lot of clock. They were going to use the clock up. They really just need a field goal, especially when it came down to 5-minute mark, 6-minute mark. They could kick a field goal, especially when you got down that 5-minute mark. I would say, kick the field goal, and you win. Vikings win. And that's what happened. It was an exciting finish, exciting game. Really exciting game, honestly. I mean, this really proved the Vikings. So, I mean, both teams had turnovers. Both teams had interceptions, fumbles. Both teams came away, you know. But, you know, the Vikings proved that they were the better team of the two. You know, so. They really did. So, somehow, again, the Patriots almost won another game. They almost had a shocker. The 49ers, or the Seahawks, the Seahawks, they came back and won in overtime, 23-20. Let's take a look at the stats. We had G. Smith with 33 completions, 44 attempts, 326 yards, a touchdown. Rushing, they didn't really have a lot of rushing. It's mainly 2 rushers. DK Metcalf, 10 receptions or 20 yards. And J. Smith, 9. And Jigba, 12 receptions, 117 yards. So it was really those 2 players did a lot. And the defense, you just had a bunch of players with good assisted numbers, and you had tackles. So that's nice, you know. But 7 tackles, so they were doing, you know, each were doing their fair share. But you had Jay Myers with 3 field goals. That's what really kept it close, though, for the Patriots to keep it close, though. And on 5 punts, though. And you had Jay Brissett. They had 5, 15, 27, 148 yards of touchdown. A. Gibson, 11 for 91. 6 and R. Stevenson, 21, 81. And then H. Henry got 8 receptions for 109 yards. That's really what did it. And there was, I guess, a bunch of punts for the Patriots, but they had more of them. I guess Jay Sly had 2 of 3 field goals, 66.7%. So I guess so, I mean. But, I mean, it was just the Seahawks that really had the good offense, going more offense, and just, you know, somehow, you know, untimely, it was just you know, maybe long drives, stuff like that, and that's really what, I mean, and it was pretty much, it was a good offensive game in the first half, especially that second quarter. It was 7-7 at the first quarter. Then it was 17-13 halftime, but then it was 20-20 until the fourth quarter. There was a little bit of touchdown by the Patriots. They took field goal by the Seahawks, made it close. So this game, I mean, this proves Patriots are a really solid team. And no people, you know, most, myself included, I didn't think the Patriots were gonna do well though. And I really didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really didn't. I thought the Patriots maybe were that was a fluke win. But no, actually, they proved themselves. Even though they lost, they actually proved themselves well. It was at 20. 320 loss. It's actually a proven game. And we have the Patriots. We have the Commanders beat the Giants 2-18. I mean, this game really wasn't too much of a proof. It was a lot of field goals. It was every single point the Commanders got was field goals. 7 field goals. And there was no made kicks by the Giants kicker. Missed kick and then failed 2-point pass from Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones went 2 for 2 again and failed. So wow. So it's like, ugh. I mean, this just, offense, so was kind of stalling out a little bit. It was like, ugh. You know? That's what was really hurt. It was a stalling offense. You know? You know, that was like not the greatest, you know. You got stalling offense. You know what I mean? That was not the best. You know? But, I mean, you can't really say nothing because it was a win. But, I mean, you couldn't criticize the offense, so for not, like, finishing drives. That was really what was the weak point of the game for the Commanders. I mean, the Giants should have had that one, but, I mean, the Commanders, you know, could have had this one be a blowout more if they would have finished them drives more. Chargers, 26-3. And it looks like Bryce Young's NFL career might be over. Who knows? I mean, he is getting benched in favor of Andy Dalton. And that should be the case, you know. I mean, I don't know why Bryce Young, I mean, he might have been good if he had some learning experience, but he was just rushed out there first day. It was raw, and it's like, I mean, Justin Herbert, they really didn't do nothing impressive. He didn't. 14 to 20, 103 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. But J.K. Dobbins and G. Edwards almost had 200 yards rushing combined. Panthers had 18 to 26 for 84 yards passing. Bryce Young did. So I don't know though. I mean, either team looked very well, but the Chargers, I mean, the Panthers are not a very good team. So that does not, on offense, especially in the offensive side of football, that doesn't surprise me, you know. That they lost. I mean, it was kind of one of those to be expected losses. Honest. So, we have the Saints, and this was a shock. The Saints blew out the Cowboys 44-19. Dak Prescott had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown only. He was not that impressive. I mean, the rushing did not really. They couldn't get a lot of rushing yards, especially when they're way down. They had to throw the ball more, and they knew that, you know. They got down early, especially it was 14-3 at the first quarter. That was 20-6. Went to 20-13, 28-13. Went to 35-13. Went to 35-16. And they just had to get points. and especially after it was like 35-16 to half, you need to get touchdowns, and they just didn't. Especially when they had all this throw, and they knew it was gonna be throw the football lot. So they just, and the Cowboys just, we're not on their A game. We're not good enough to win. They just weren't like had a lot of turnovers, interceptions. The Cowboys did. They just had turnovers, and it was just like. I mean, the Cowboys only punted one time. So, I mean, it's like, ugh. You know, I mean, if the Cowboys stall drives, but they had interceptions that stall drives, other turnovers, so it's like, ugh. You know? I guess it was just like short drives, I guess. You know, that really stalled them out. You know, they got short drives. It's just like, they just got outplayed. That was kind of embarrassing loss. I mean, if the Cowboys lost, they lost, but losing the way they did lose, that's an embarrassing loss. The Cowboys. I mean, you got the Packers. Colts lost the Packers. A. Richardson had 3 interceptions. It was more like an offensive struggle by both sides. But really, when A. Richardson threw 3 interceptions, Jay Taylor threw 103. I mean, A. Richardson, if he would have thrown a couple, like, if he would have had a couple less, like maybe only 1 interception or something like that. I mean, maybe 1 would have been late in the game, throwing it up at the very end. Okay, maybe, but if you limit it to say 1 of those 2 interceptions, so you would have only had 1 interception, say maybe, might have been better, you know, better than 3, you know, 2, 1 interception. You know, you might not have been in that situation. You know, you would have been able to win the game, maybe. So. You know, so it's like, you know. So I don't know. I mean, the Packers weren't that impressive, though. They were only 32 carries, 150 yards for Josh Jacobs, and Malik Willis. He had a total of 1,422 yards. So it was like, ooh. I mean, neither side really was impressive, though. Both sides were not impressive, though. Tell you though, so. Like, I mean, is it really that surprising? No. But, I don't know, I mean, cool. I don't know. I mean, Packers didn't look impressive. Neither team looked impressive. It was just, the Colts shouldn't have had that many receptions, though. You know, maybe it's just an off game, but if that happens again, Richardson might not be the guy this season. And Malik Willis obviously is not the one for Green Bay. Just has to survive until Jordan Love comes back, which, I mean, maybe he survives, maybe a little bit against him, but I doubt it. I doubt it against the Vikings, so he'd probably be 1-3. Maybe Packers out of the playoffs. You know, even with Jordan Love, you know, quarterback might not get it. You're not gonna get wins against every top team, so it might be a bust for them in the playoffs. So we have Browns and the Jaguars. That was a good game. It was just, but both teams did not have a lot of offense, but you know, not the high offensive numbers. but like maybe like close to 300, 350 yards total. Actually, I'd say like 325, and they had maybe about 300. So it's like neither team really did not have a ton of offense. You know what? I mean, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, both teams did. It was just more like one of those defensive teams. But, I mean, they both had good rhythms. I mean, it was just, Lawrence did not have the best throwing the ball, but 14-30, but you know what? I mean, I guess both teams, so. I mean, they had an okay game. I mean, it was more of a defensive game. So, what can I say, You have the Jets and the Titans. The Jets had a win. Won. But Rodgers did not have the greatest game. I mean, that was a good win for Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers. Or after the Jets struggled on offense last week. Not in plays, the 49ers did run the ball a lot more and they were able to get more plays. A lot more, so that Terrell defense side of football. And the offense just was able to be on the field. And with especially interceptions and that stuff. So I was like, ugh. But, whatever. And then we have Will Levis. He could have tied it up though, late in the game. So he could have tied up late in that game because I saw this game after the 49ers Vikings game. They flipped this one on CBS, and they could have won it. Could have, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Nothing you can do. Honestly. So, yeah. You got the teams. Still have to feel good about this one. Having a chance to win late. A chance to win late. But I know they would wish they would have won it. Obviously, but they have to feel good about themselves. So do the Jets. Both teams have to feel good. The Titans, even though they didn't win, they have to be impressed by the fact that that they have to be impressed with that they were able to almost had a win, good win. Almost had a good win. Almost doesn't count, but they played well though, despite losing. And the Jets, they didn't look the most impressive, but they had a good bounce back win. That's all you can say. The Buccaneers, Jared Goff threw 2 receptions, 307 yards, and Baker Mayfield had 1 touchdown reception. That's really what hurt the Lions. They gave the Buccaneers the ball in good field position. That's what really hurts them. When you give a team the ball in good field position, and you can't capitalize on long drives and turnover, and long drives and stuff like that, that really is what hurt you in the offense. And Baker Mayfield didn't really have an impressive game, but they used, they were able to get like enough scores to win, and that's all you can say, So, and that's what I mean. Lions should have won if they didn't throw the 2 receptions. I believe they would have won, but they threw after the 2 receptions. Should have hurt them. The Raiders and the Ravens. It was both teams had Lamar and Minshew had an interception. Both sides did. So, so both teams did have an interception. So, it wasn't like when one team did worse than the other, But, it just came down late, though, to a... It's kind of surprising, though, that the Ravens lost the game. But they had 109 penalty yards. They had 11 penalties. That's really what hurt them, from all those penalties. I guess that's what you could say. A lot cost in the game. If they got the extra offense, yeah, but the penalties. But penalties. So. And then it was both teams. There was a bunch of field goals in the first and second quarter. And then it was close. It was touchdowns. And then Baltimore could have closed out late, but they couldn't close out late. And the Raiders had it, and they kicked the field goal, so the Cardinals blew out the Rams. Now that's surprising. It really is. Even though Stafford had a good game, it was just they couldn't get a lot of rushing game going. And that's what hurt them. That is really what hurt them. It really is. When you can't get a solid rushing game going, you have to rely on the passing game going a lot, and there's just a lot of stall drives. And you have to go for it on fourth down stuff eventually. Kind of, the other team expects it and they know it. Kyler Murray just had a really great game. They had a really good rushing attack, over 200 yards rushing and 260 yards passing. For a near almost even game. So it's like, wow, like on both teams, You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's just they're off the rushing stuff out. It's like kind of surprising. And yeah, the Bengals and the Chiefs. Well, this was a good game. Patrick Mahomes had an off game. He only threw 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But was like there might have been something going on, like maybe like fumbles. Yeah, there was a fumble loss. I don't know how the Bengals lost this one. Like that's just a shock. I think the Bengals lost. One of those upsets that I guess shouldn't have happened. I guess I don't know. This is just one of those games that shouldn't have happened. I guess I guess you had 3 log drives or stall drives, no interception. You had more of them, so I guess maybe they should have won. But if you factor in that, but I'm Joe Burrow, and when he's quarterback, he's on the Bengals have been 1-8 in, not 1-9 in weeks 1 and 2, so maybe it just takes time for this team, the Bengals lately. The new Bengals look the last 5 seasons. Get started in weeks 1 and 2, and they don't play on. Maybe they don't play in preseason really at all, hardly, even anything to get there. I'm going so in real games, so. And then we got the Steelers and the Broncos. The Broncos are nothing impressive, even with B. Nix and Jay Fields with quarterback. And it's doing okay, but hasn't played really impressive games. And the other teams haven't really played impressive, so they're able to win though. And the Broncos, again, not impressive game. If you wouldn't have thrown 2 interceptions and actually thrown a touch, and actually had a little bit of a rushing maybe game, even with the 2 interceptions, you could have still won, even with or tied up or something. So, and the Bears, Caleb Williams did not look impressive. 2 interceptions, 174 yards. So neither team on offense looked. There was not a lot of rushing game by Texans. Passing game, there was a little bit of a passing game, a good decent passing game for the Texans, but no rushing. That really hurt them. And the Bears, Caleb Williams having there's a little bit of rushing game, 70 yards, but then 2 interceptions, 174 yards only. A little bit of improvement from last week, but the interceptions, that hurt them big time. It's the Bears, so. So what's going to be the good games week 3? Well, the Eagles and Saints is going to be a good game. Both teams are probably going to win this 2-0. The Eagles probably are going to be the Falcons on Monday Night Football, so 2-0 against 2-0. You have the Texans and the Vikings. Both teams are looking to be 2-0. Looking to be 3-0 actually. Texans are coming off looking to be 3-0. Off an impressive victory. We have the Chargers and Steelers. 2 teams that are surprisingly, compared to last season, the Chargers weren't. But both teams, but the Steelers, that's surprising that they're 2-0 though. But they are, and looking to be, 3-0, and really surprised people. Compared to last season, really surprised people. Japan. You have the Lions and Cardinals, 2 teams. The Lions are looking to cement themselves, and the Cardinals are looking to be really one of those teams that are so solid in the NFC. So who's going to win? That one. It's going to be actually a good game. Last season, that had been a nothing game. This season, it's a really good game, actually. The Ravens and the Cowboys, that's going to be a good game as well. The Ravens are 0-2, looking to actually bounce back and not be a disappointment game. And the Cowboys are looking to be 2-1 and bounce back off the disappointing loss. So both teams are looking to write off disappointing games like that. Games that they feel like especially Cowboys, but the Ravens, the 2 games where they know they feel like they should have won. That, and they just have self-inflicted penalties, especially the penalties in the second game. So it's so I don't know. Then you got the 49ers and Rams. The Rams were not looking impressive. The Rams sometimes don't look impressive though, so they can look better against the 49ers. I mean, if the Rams could look like they did against the Lions, even though they lost, they can. I mean, maybe the Rams could be 1-2. I mean, the 49ers looking to bounce back after that win. After a loss to the Vikings, and they should have won. I mean, they were the favorites, and they were, had a good chance to win, but just had bad time, mistimed, penalties or fumble or turnovers, stall drives.